Well, we're just coming to the end of our second week of camp. This week was a teen week. Last week was a junior week. I have to admit that last week was a very difficult week. We had new counselors, many of them young. It's getting harder and harder to find counselors here, so they were young. The kids were very active. The preaching was way over their heads, so we made some adjustments this week. New preaching, better training for the counselors over the weekend, and we've had a fabulous week this week in our teen camp. That's not to say that last week wasn't somewhat of a success. We had about 260 kids in camp, and we had about 140 accept the Lord as their Savior, many of them very sincere. This week we gave the invitation last night, and there were at least 200 young people that came forward at the invitation, many with tears, many very sober, and they came back very sober, and they sang for a long time, and it was good singing afterwards. We believe God is doing a magnificent job here in our Vodage, Camp Hope, here in Moldova. I want to make an announcement. We're going to take a furlough a year from this September. I know some of you like to plan way in advance. Some of the pastors in particular like to plan way in advance. So a year from this September, I want to tell you it's been 6 years since we've taken a furlough, and I want to tell you why. It's because we came through the COVID pandemic about 2 years plus. And of course, you know, it was impossible to travel and go to churches during that time for the most part. But we've had to spend the last couple of years just rebuilding the ministry here, and particularly here in Moldova. We've had to rebuild our leadership team. We've had to rebuild our camping philosophy and our camping program, and I believe that we're on the right track now. I've also been in Africa over the last couple of months, and I've been helping Dr. Joshua reformulate our philosophy and our ministry there. I believe we are setting the ministry up very well for Dr. Joshua and for the educational programs we want to do there in Malawi, Africa. And I'm very, very pleased to report Dr. Joshua and his wife and his team are doing a great job there. And I believe with the new formulation of ministry there, I believe it's going to be just a tremendous blessing to the people of Malawi. So we need your prayers. We need your prayers here. We need your prayers in Africa, in Malawi, Africa. But I will say this, prices are much higher this year than we anticipated. We expected the prices to be a little bit lower, but I would say we're probably 40% more than we planned, particularly in the area of energy. Gas and electricity are just very expensive, as I've mentioned in a few prayer letters. If you want to help us with camp this year, we could sure use the help. Consider the fact, too, that we're recruiting students for school. We're expecting a really great year in our school here come September. Thank you so much for your prayers. Thank you so much for your giving. And please remember us here in Moldova. And I hope to see some of you a year from this September. God bless.